Come for you after 9 this morning.
CWR Breakfast
with Phil Upton.
18 minutes to 9. Thursday morning means time once again to check in with our movie critic, Stratford-upon-Avon, James Luxford's good, bad and on-demand choices of movie picks for you this week across Coventry and Warwickshire. Morning again, James.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming on this morning. Your first movie pick this morning. I have to go and see this film this weekend. I've seen the trailers for it. The reviews for it have been amazing. I've heard the guy involved, Kenneth Branagh, do several interviews about this. Just tell me, please, you like Belfast?
Yes, I mean, it's in the good, so that's a positive sign. Okay. Kenneth Branagh directs this story loosely based on his own childhood, about the life of a Belfast family in the late 60s at the beginning of the Troubles.
We all have a story to tell. But what makes each one different is not how the story ends, but rather the place where it begins.
A lot of talk at the moment, of course, Northern Ireland, the Northern Ireland Protocol. We know the existing tensions between unionist, loyalist and predominantly nationalist Catholic communities there. And this film gets into some of that, doesn't it?
It does. And it's an interesting contrast because it's a funny thing to say, but it is quite an uplifting film because this is about a family and the the political backdrop is very much that. It's the backdrop. It doesn't shy away from the harder elements of what is happening. It's set in the late 60s, so just as this conflict is starting and how it affects that family. But it is a focus on a family, and I think it's a really, really lovely film. Kenneth Branagh does focus on the bond and the central character, who's a young boy, loosely based on himself. And that kind of feeling of, childhood isn't impeded by the larger things happening in the world, by, even the dark things that may be happening on your doorstep, quite literally in their case. And so while there is, a respectful and unflinching approach to the political elements in it, it's also a very joyous and resilient film about a family's bond and, the joys of childhood in some cases.
Belfast opens in cinemas across Coventry and Warwickshire this Friday. That's James's good suggestion this morning. So what's your bad?
Bad is the 355 in cinemas now. It's an all-star cast, and they play a team of international spies looking to save the world from a weapon that has fallen into the wrong hands.
We're the top agents from around the world. American, British, German, Colombian, Chinese.
But now we have a common enemy.
They can start World War III from simple reach of their keyboard.
So we need to join forces.
Stars Jude Law, so you think, oh, that'll be all right then, won't it? But clearly, James, you weren't very impressed with it.
It's one of those films you just wish was a little better because it has a great cast, as you heard there. Lupita Nyong'o, Jessica Chastain, Penelope Cruz, among others, and a premise that implies a kind of female-led equivalent to things like James Bond or Mission Impossible. It made a big headlines in Cannes a few years ago. However, I don't think any amount of talent can save a bad story. And the plot just doesn't really do anything memorable or go anywhere particularly interesting. I thought it was unfortunate, as this cast deserved a lot better.
355 in cinemas this weekend. Let us know what you think if you do get to go. Thanks for all of your texts and calls, by the way, on dog movies or movies remade for dogs. This after some cinemas are now putting on doggy films on a Monday. You can take your dog to the cinema with you. Monday night, watch classics like Lassie, Lady and the Tramp, have a bowl of doggy chews there. Michael, an evening with Barbara Woodhouse, followed by Cats. he says. Settle down at the back. Thanks for that, Michael. Good suggestion there. Keith, who's in Nuneaton this morning. Morning, Keith. I've actually just temporarily lost your suggestion, Keith, so I'll come back to that in just a second, if I may. I've got it. Groundhog Day. That's quite a good one, Keith. Thank you for that. Keep those coming. Any more thoughts on that, James, yourself, listening to this?
How about The Bark Knight?
Oh, good one. All right. Okay, let's move on to your final pick. This is your on-demand pick for this week.
Yes, it's the drama The Nest, which is on demand from Monday, and it's an 80s set drama starring Jude Law as a businessman who spirals out of control as he moves his family from America to London.
You're delusional because you have nothing, Rory. We have nothing. It's horrible here. No one is the same here.
Nothing
is the same
with
here.
This house.
What is happening? You're all strangers to me right now, all of you.
You're embarrassing.
And you're exhausting.
I know nothing about this. I've not seen this. It's not been on my conscious at all, on my radar. So, yeah, any good?
Yeah, I think it sort of slipped through the gaps as we were sort of opening up again, as cinemas were opening up again. It came out it's sort of in the middle of last year, maybe a little bit later. But I really like this. It has, the tone of a horror film where it feels like something is just around the corner, but in reality it's about 80s excess and the story of a relationship falling apart, and it just has that very tense tone throughout. I thought Jude Law was fantastic in this, as a man who thinks he can sort of talk himself out of trouble, talk himself out of anything really, and then as the walls close in, he becomes really interesting to watch. A bit of a quirky movie, and one that sort of flew under the radar when it was in cinemas, but one I think you should definitely check out.
James, always good to hear from you. Appreciate your recommendations every week. Thanks so much. Have a good weekend. James Luxford from Stratford-upon-Avon, our movie critic, with us this morning, and their good, bad and on-demand suggestions for you this week.
Last year, the Queen played